The easiest way to win in life is to stop waiting for the life you want and start becoming the person who deserves it. If you woke up today and you still don't have the life that you want, the relationship, the body, the bank account, the peace, the purpose, then it's safe to assume one thing. You haven't become the person who can carry that life yet. And that's exactly what this video is about. Because everyone says the same thing. I'll train hard once I start seeing results. I'll take business seriously once the money starts coming in. I'll become disciplined once I feel motivated. I'll act like a godly husband once I find the right person. No, that's not how God designed growth, and that's not how life rewards you. You don't get the blessing and then become the person. You become the person and then the blessing comes. And in this video, I'm going to show you the simplest and honestly the easiest way to get everything you've ever wanted. For years, I was inconsistent in the gym. I'd go when I felt like it. I would skip when I didn't. And I let my emotions dictate my effort. I was eating whatever was convenient, not whatever pushed me toward the strongest version of myself. And it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking, once I look good, then I'll commit to working harder. But that's not how progress works. You don't get the body and then become disciplined. You become disciplined and then you get the body. So I stopped waiting to feel ready and started building the habits that someone with the physique I wanted would have already mastered. So I looked at the people who had the physique I wanted, and then I studied how they lived, how they trained, how they ate, how they carried themselves. And then I took everything I learned and started applying it to my own life. I started living like they live. And before I knew it, I became the person who had the physique I only used to dream about. I trained even when I didn't feel like it. I learned how to feel my body properly. I treated my health like a priority instead of an afterthought. And of course, at first it didn't feel natural. It felt like I was trying to live up to a standard I hadn't earned yet. But that's exactly the point. Identity first, results later. And the same thing applied to my relationship. They think they'll suddenly communicate better, suddenly become more loyal, more patient, more stable. They think a relationship transforms them. But the truth is, a relationship only exposes whoever you are already. When I met my wife, I didn't become the person she needed overnight. I had already been working on becoming that man long before she ever entered my life. I started living like someone who was preparing for a lifelong partner, not someone who was drifting and hoping the right person would fix everything. I worked on my communication, my self-respect, my discipline, my consistency, not because someone was watching, but because I knew the type of woman I wanted in my life wouldn't settle for someone who wasn't putting in the work. So I treated my personal development like a responsibility. I carried myself like someone preparing, not just for a relationship, but for a marriage, for a future family, for a life of stability and purpose. So when she came into my life, I didn't have to scramble or suddenly change who I am. I just continued being the man I had already been building. And that's why the relationship worked. I didn't meet her and try to rise to a level. I prepared so that when she arrived, I was already there. Here's the golden rule. If you wouldn't do something if you were in a relationship, then don't do it now in your singleness. If you wouldn't post that photo if you were in a relationship, then don't post it now. If you wouldn't flirt with that coworker if you were taken, then don't flirt with them now. Become the person first, and then God sends the partner second. And that's exactly why I'm married today. The same principle carried into my work and my social media. When I started posting, there was no audience waiting for my next video. No one knew my name. No one cared if I uploaded or skipped a week, but I treated every piece of content like it mattered, because I knew if I showed up like someone with the following, eventually the following would show up for me. Most people start posting after they build confidence. I built confidence because I started posting. I spent hours on content that barely reached anyone because I know that is what the future me would have wanted. I spoke with intention even when there were only a handful of views, because I knew that speaking like a leader eventually makes you one. I worked the hours of someone far more successful than I was, because I knew that if I waited for success before adopting the habits, I'd never get there. And if you want my help with social media, so building a real audience from nothing, I left a link in the description to book a free one-on-one call. I went from $0 in my dad's garage to over 3 million followers and $40,000 a month from social media in just 4 years. And now I help others do it too. I am very selective who I work with though, so the call is simply a casual conversation to see if we're even a fit to work together or not. So if you're serious about growing, the link is in the description. Here's what my journey taught me about achieving everything I used to only dream about. Your life only starts to change when your behavior stops matching your current circumstances and starts matching your future goals. The world responds to to the identity you commit to, not the one you're trying to run from. You can't be inconsistent and expect long-term results. You can't be undisciplined and expect a strong physique. You can't be emotionally unavailable and expect a healthy relationship. You can't be half invested and expect a successful business. Everything you want requires a version of you that you have to choose before the rewards appear. If you want your life to change, you have to stop waiting for the universe to give you permission. Start training like the body you want is already on its way. Start eating like you respect yourself. Start building habits that a healthy relationship can depend on. Start structuring your time like your dreams aren't optional. Start acting like the person you want to be, not in a fake or delusional way, but in a disciplined, intentional, grounded way that aligns your actions with your future. Because when you live like you've already achieved your dreams, something incredible happens. Your behavior creates momentum. Momentum creates opportunities. Opportunities reshape your reality. And one day, you look around and you realize you're living the life you used to dream about. Live like you've already achieved it. That's how you get there.